Have you ever wondered how less than 0.2% of the global population could hold such a disproportionate share of the world's wealth? The secret isn't luck, lineage, or status. It's a financial mindset so cold-blooded, it sparks controversy. In a world addicted to spending and debt, they choose restraint, discipline, and long-term investing like a religion. This video doesn't just unpack each of their financial rules. It forces you to confront a painful truth. Do you dare live against the crowd to be truly free? Now prepare to peel back the layers of mainstream money thinking and step into the system Jewish people have quietly used to build global financial empires. Jewish people don't save out of fear of being poor. They save because they treat it as an unshakable principle of life. While modern society glorifies consumption as a badge of success, they define greatness by the power of restraint. For them, saving is a moral code, a commitment to the future, and an act of reverence for something greater. No one forces them to do it. They choose financial discipline as a declaration of purposeful living, regardless of how the majority judges them. And that choice is exactly what makes them one of the world's wealthiest communities. They don't save just to hoard money and die rich. They save to gain freedom of choice, readiness in crisis, and the ability to help others at the right time. What they avoid is spending out of ego. What they pursue is using money as a tool, not as a goal. In a world addicted to discounts, upgrades, and paycheck-to-paycheck living, Jewish people hold the line of control. And that's how they truly master life. When others follow emotion, they follow a system, one built on clarity, conviction, and commitment to values beyond fleeting pleasure. There are 3 reasons for saving crush every excuse society gives for overspending. 1, it's a sacred responsibility. 2, it protects financial security. 3, it fuels impact beyond self. If you think saving is stingy, you've been brainwashed by consumerism for too long. In a world where gratitude is mistaken for weakness, they choose the upstream path. And it's precisely that choice that earns them respect, admiration, and sometimes envy. They don't apologize for being different. They double down on it. Because freedom doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from doing what others are too undisciplined to attempt. Real wealth isn't in the car you drive, the condo you show off, or the brand you wear. It's in what you have the discipline to reject. Jewish people don't prove their worth by spending. They prove their wisdom by restraint. While the masses evaluate each other through surface-level possessions, they value the invisible asset, money not spent. They live quietly. But that quiet life holds immense power. True wealth in their world is not about flaunting. It's about controlling desire so completely that money grows where noise used to exist. They are silent in action, but deafening in impact. They record expenses. They set budgets. They monitor every dollar, not out of scarcity, but because they understand the weight of every decision. Every time you say don't buy, you reclaim authority over your future. That kind of discipline doesn't feel good in the moment, but it's the invisible force that builds unstoppable momentum. In a world soaked in advertising, the spender is a pawn. The one who chooses not to spend is the strategist. Financial control doesn't come from earning more. It comes from mastering what you do when no one is watching. That's where true power is born. Spending recklessly is instinct. Holding back is intelligence. Jewish people don't chase freedom through possessions. They reach it through intentional refusal. When you see someone living simply, don't pity them. They might be buying the freedom you're too afraid to pursue. Wealth isn't how much you spend. It's what you keep after saying no to every trap. While others seek validation, they seek sovereignty. That's the real economy of the wise, trading applause for control. They know exactly what to sacrifice. And more importantly, they know what never to trade for short-term ego. The 5-jar system isn't a money hack. It's a life architecture. While most people struggle with how to save, Jewish people split their income the moment they receive it. 50% goes to essentials, 10% to charity, 10% to savings, 10% to investments, 20% to enjoyment. There's no room for random spending. Every dollar has a job, and that clarity helps them escape the loop of earn, spend, lack, borrow, repeat. They don't let money run their emotions. They command money through structure. When the world asks, "Where did my money go?" they already told it where to go, weeks ago. That's control, not luck. Without a fun jar, people go insane. Without an investment jar, the future is hollow. Without a charity jar, life becomes cold. And without a savings jar, every emergency becomes a crisis. The 5-jar method isn't just about dividing money, it's about redistributing personal power. Jewish people don't let feelings dictate financial behavior. They build systems to overrule emotion. In a world that acts on impulse, they operate by principles. And that's what sets them apart. The jars are not containers, they're commitments to freedom, to impact, and to living without financial fear haunting every decision. What makes this system powerful isn't its complexity, but how easily it's ignored. People think, I already know this. But knowing isn't doing. Jewish people don't care if you think 5 jars are basic. They care about results in 10 years. While you're still stressed about rent, they're compounding quietly. And it all began with jars. The problem isn't your knowledge, it's your execution. The 5-jar system works because it's boring, predictable, and repeatable. And in the real world, that's the formula no influencer wants to sell you. Because it doesn't sound sexy, it just builds wealth. Jewish people don't invest to get rich fast, they invest to stay free. They don't follow the market, they don't chase hype. The first rule is diversification, spreading money across stocks, bonds, real estate, and gold. They don't go all in on a feeling. Each asset class is a fortress guarding long-term wealth. If one collapses, the others stand firm. Stability comes from structure, not chance. For them, investing isn't thrill-seeking, it's financial self-defense. They don't need fireworks, they need compound momentum that outlives every trend. While others gamble, they build, quietly, relentlessly, with no apologies. The second rule, compound interest. They understand that one reinvested dollar today can become 10 in a decade. Interest on interest is the magic of time. While most chase quick wins in 6 months, they let money grow over 10 years. No flash, no noise, but absolute power. Compound growth isn't for the impatient. It rewards those who respect the long game. Jewish people aren't looking to beat the system. They become the system by letting time and discipline do the heavy lifting. They don't hope for miracles. They trust mathematics, and mathematics never begs for luck. The final rule, value investing. They don't buy because the market says hot. They buy when something is undervalued, when price falls far below real worth. They hunt inefficiencies and convert them into advantage. Buy low, wait, then sell when reason returns to the crowd. While others invest out of FOMO, they invest from logic. They don't need a dozen home runs. They need a few solid truths held long enough to win. Jewish people don't drown in trends. They wait beneath them, silent, prepared, patient. That's not luck, that's domination through restraint. Consumer debt is a silent mass killer. Jewish people have known this forever. They don't borrow to spend, and they don't swipe cards to live beyond their means. To them, debt only makes sense if it generates cash flow greater than its cost. If not, it's a whole swallowing freedom. While many take on debt to look wealthy, they live truthfully, never borrowing to wear a mask. The ugly truth? Today's credit card thrill becomes tomorrow's financial collapse. And the ones dancing on the edge are usually the first to fall. Not because they were poor, because they were reckless. They don't just avoid debt. They obliterate it with calculated aggression. They prioritize high-interest accounts. They renegotiate terms. They cut non-essential expenses without flinching. They use money like a blade, slicing through debt 1 month at a time. There is no compassion for financial error, only correction. To them, debt is a predator. The more you feed it, the stronger it grows. The only way to win is to kill it as fast as possible. Jewish people don't cope with debt. They eliminate it before it consumes their freedom. Not with emotion, with relentless precision and unshakable commitment. You can throw out every excuse for keeping debt, circumstances, ignorance, or everyone has it. But Jewish people would ask, what are you doing about it? Debt doesn't vanish. It demands payment in time, energy, interest, and self-worth. They never let themselves be controlled. They crush debt like a parasite leeching on their goals. No hesitation, no delays, because they know freedom never belongs to those who carry debt like a badge of survival. It belongs to those who cut it loose with brutal clarity and refuse to let another cent weigh down their destiny. The Avalanche method is for those ready to break free with ruthless clarity. Debt repayment isn't emotional, it's strategic warfare. While most people pick small debts for motivation, The Avalanche method attacks the highest interest debt first, regardless of balance. It's not for the soft-hearted. It's for those who'd rather bleed now than suffocate later. You go straight for the monster that drains you fastest. This is how Jewish people kill debt. Start where it hurts most and keep hitting until it's gone. No fluff, no hope. Just math, grit, and the unbreakable decision to never be enslaved again. You pay off high-interest debt first, not because it's easy, but because it's bleeding you dry. While others soothe themselves with paying what feels achievable, the Avalanche cuts straight to the core. It's not about comfort, it's about minimizing damage and maximizing speed. Each payment is a precision strike. Each month, the weight lightens. The Avalanche is cold and efficient. It demands discipline, not dopamine. And Jewish people embrace it because they'd rather face pain today than surrender the next 10 years. Debt doesn't care how you feel, and neither does freedom. It just asks if you're willing to earn it. Using Avalanche means owning your choices. No blame, no excuses. You created the debt, now you destroy it. Jewish people don't romanticize the climb out. They weaponize it. They list every loan, rank it by cost, and go to war. Every dollar becomes a bullet aimed at interest. No distractions, no delays, just execution. While others negotiate with their weaknesses, they reinforce their resolve. Because every dollar saved in interest is a step closer to sovereignty. And every step matters when you're climbing a mountain built from your past decisions. Pain now or poverty later. Choose your suffering. Modern life tells you to spend what you earn because you deserve it. But the intelligent spend less, not from fear, but from control. Jewish people live below their income not because they lack, but because they choose intentional surplus. While others raise their lifestyle every time their paycheck increases, they lock it in and divert the excess into building assets. That's not scarcity, that's high-level strategy. They don't play the short game of showing off. They play the long game of financial domination. And when the economy crashes, they aren't scrambling, they're buying. Because they were smart enough to stay liquid. They don't buy a new car because the neighbor did. They don't upgrade apartments because friends posted luxury views. They spend based on value, not social pressure. Their minimalist lifestyle is a rational protest against collective financial madness. In a society that defines status through bank statements and flashy expenses, they define it through autonomy. Real wealth isn't about how much you earn. It's about the gap between income and what you need to live well. That gap is freedom, and those who guard it grow it. Everyone else, they stay broke trying to impress people who don't even care. Not everyone who lives simply is poor, and not everyone who spends big is rich. Jewish thinking flips this illusion. The truly wealthy prove nothing. They don't need applause from people who won't pay their bills. They need sustainability. Living below your income isn't weakness. It's the launch pad for investment, security, and optionality. While others buy symbols of freedom, they buy actual freedom. Between flashy illusion and long-term peace, the choice is brutal but clear. You either perform for likes or prepare for liberty. And only one of those options will matter when the lights go out. Saving is the start, not the solution. Jewish people don't stop at keeping money. They go further by learning how to earn more, smarter, and on their own terms. While the average person loops through work, spend, wait, repeat, they break free through active income strategies. They upgrade skills, they expand knowledge, they experiment, fail, and rebuild. No one hands them opportunity. They manufacture it. That's the real advantage, a mindset that doesn't wait for conditions to change. They change the conditions. While others blame the system, they become anti-fragile within it. And that's why they rise, even when others freeze. People say, work hard and you'll be rich. Wrong. Work smart and pick the right battles, and you might be. Jewish people don't grind blindly. They solve real problems people will pay to fix. They sell solutions, not time. They reinvest profits. They multiply income streams. 1 hour of work today becomes hundreds of hours of passive income later. That's how they escape the labor hamster wheel. They don't want more jobs. They want more leverage. They don't chase promotions. They create platforms. They don't just work for money. They make money work for them. With precision, purpose, and permanent intention. If you think saving alone leads to freedom, you're playing chess without half the board. Jewish people pair saving with offense. They earn, scale, and dominate, not for vanity but for sovereignty. They don't let emotion steer finances. They invest in knowledge, tools, and networks, the assets that unlock exponential growth. They don't burn hours on side hustles. They build systems. That's why they don't just survive. They thrive, strategically and deliberately. Wealth doesn't reward caution alone. It rewards those who dare to move, grow, and outbuild the noise. Saving is defense. But without a fence, you'll always be cornered. Jewish people don't choose careers based on passing inspiration. They choose with ruthless strategy. Is this in demand? Is it lucrative? Does it align with my strengths? They don't chase dreamy slogans like follow your passion. They don't pick careers to escape life but to conquer it. Work isn't where they express identity. It's where they fund freedom, build assets, and create legacy. While others hunt for emotional fulfillment, they hunt for leverage. Because they know a great career isn't found. It's engineered. Intentionally, intelligently, and without compromise, and it becomes the foundation upon which everything else grows. They gravitate toward fields with durability, global relevance, and high return: law, finance, medicine, science, education. They don't pick based on trends. They pick based on what will still matter a decade from now. That's the clarity most people lose chasing clout or comfort. While others pick jobs to feel good, they pick to outlast the economy. A profession isn't a label for them, it's a tool. Sharp, scalable, and battle-tested. The world screams, do what you love. They whisper back, do what builds the life you want. One gets applause, the other gets paid. They know the difference. Want to save better, invest smarter, and live freer? Start with your profession. Jewish people don't accept low-income roles and then pray savings will rescue them. They choose fields that pay, grow, and scale. Not for status, not to impress, but because they know time is capital, and your career is the engine that funds your freedom. They don't have a job. They own their trajectory. While others pick careers to survive, they pick them to multiply. That's the real cheat code. Build your life on a job that finances your future, not just your present. Jewish people don't start businesses to get famous, raise capital, or make headlines. They start to solve real problems and stay in control. They begin with actual market demand, not wishful thinking. They test small, gather feedback, iterate fast, no waiting for investor validation, no chasing hype. For them, business isn't a vanity project. It's a vehicle to own time, income, and direction. They don't romanticize entrepreneurship. They weaponize it. While others post about startup life, they're building quietly, day by day, until one morning, they own what others still dream of. Not because they were lucky, because they were deliberate. Once launched, they don't sit back. They monetize fast. They build revenue streams, expand their ecosystem, and feed the machine that feeds them. They brand not to go viral, but to earn trust. They hire people smarter than themselves. They outsource distractions. They double down on what scales. And above all, they reinvest into what works. Their business isn't a gamble. It's a long-term compound asset. Where others burn out chasing growth, they grow efficiently. They don't scream louder. They think sharper. Their companies aren't just active, they're armored, because they were built for resilience, not for temporary attention. You might think they're too cautious, but that caution keeps them alive while others collapse. They don't bet the house, they build the foundation. While startups fail chasing scale without substance, they endure by mastering fundamentals. No flashy launches, no pitch deck illusions, just product, value, and cash flow. They play the long game in a short-sighted world. They'd rather grow slow and own everything than grow fast and lose control. Their secret isn't genius. It's clarity. When others chase the spotlight, they secure the fortress. Because they know, a quiet business that lasts is louder than a loud one that dies. If you still believe saving is stingy, investing is gambling, and entrepreneurship is a playground for dreamers, congratulations, you've already lost the financial game at the level of thinking. Jewish people aren't luckier than you. They're simply better at choosing. Discipline over display, depth over noise, and execution over excuses. You can keep living by the rhythm of the crowd, or you can rise and rebuild your financial mindset from the root. But remember this, freedom doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from systems. And those who dare to design those systems, coldly, clearly, and unapologetically, will be the ones who never have to beg life for permission again.